There's something you should know about me. I check out all the GPUs, even the old ones. Yes, that's right.
I think that's kind of cool.
And then I test them in Fortnite. Hey guys, Robert Fixit here with the first episode of the Fortnite Legacy GPU Challenge. These are the cards that we have for the first round. These are all low-end cards in the $20 price range, ranging from 2010 here to 2012 here. Now, this card, the GTX460, works, but when I load Fortnite, it crashes. Fortnite used to work on a 260. I've seen videos of it. I don't know if it's because of the system that I have or the fact that it's running on Windows 11 that it won't load. And so we're just gonna leave that out for now because it doesn't work. Or maybe Fortnite just won't work with it anymore. So that's a failure. So let's move this along. Then we have which was supposed to be the star of the show here, the 650 2GB card, which I got for free in the box, the one you saw in the video. It looks brand new. So I put this in. It wasn't the first one I tried. I put this in and it seemed to work fine. And then I tried to play Fortnite and it was super slow. I mean, like, not even playable on any setting. So I went, that's weird. So I pulled up firmware benchmark to try and stress test it. And it said it was running at 1000 megahertz, which is the clock speed for this card. And then it said in parentheses, throttling minus 500 megahertz. So it's only running at half speed. And it's not hot. The temperature was very low. So basically this card is defective, I think. I tried different drivers. I don't know. So this will not be part of the competition because it doesn't work. What I will do though is the 260 on this card, I will try on another computer just to double check that has Windows 10 and just double check that they are in fact not working with Fortnite. So that's too bad. So here are the actual contenders. This is what you'll see in the video. We're just gonna do a brief gameplay and then I'll show you the spreadsheet. The future videos, this is just a practice one. The future videos will have more gameplay and less spec talking because people like to watch the games. So we have the GTX 651 gigabyte, which has no brand name. That was weird. That came in a pre-built, so that was free. We have the GTX 545, which is a weird card. That was also free. And then we have the GTX 460, 1 gigabyte. And this came with the X58 board and case that I bought recently. So that's kind of free. Now this one I actually bought yesterday. This is a nice card. This is a GTX 550 Ti 1 gigabyte amp edition. So it's overclocked slightly from a stock one. And it looks cool. And here's the power connection. So this one's 6-pin. This one is 2 6-pin because it's older. This one is 6-pin. And this one doesn't require 6-pin. So now if you look at these cards, I mean, which one would you rather have? This one looks beefy. This one looks cool. This one looks like whatever. And then this one looks wimpy. Yet they all perform around the same. So yeah, now let's show you the game a little bit, and then the test system that I'm going to be using for now. I was going to use a 3rd gen i5 setup, but I want to sell that. And I have my old Xeon X58 board in a big case. You saw the case that I bought the other day, but the test system will have its own video at some point. But I'm doing that because it's in a big case, and the board has 3 slots for the PCI, so it's real easy to get in and out. And it's a big giant case, so it's just easier to swap cards around. And then that has a 500 watt power supply in it, so it'll handle anything. And so yeah, let's check out Fortnite and see what happens.
Want to play Fortnite?
Oh, why? Because I'm all out of money! All out of...
So here is the 4060. I wanted to show you this. So when the 4060 and the 545, 460, 545. When I put them in performance mode, this happens. It doesn't happen in the game, it just happens in the menu. So it's kind of weird. So this is performance, and we'll just do this real quick. And I want to show you the difference between the benchmarks that we're doing. So this is just typical performance, so we'll start that. And so we're doing performance mode as the first benchmark, and just to see how many FPS you can get in performance mode. Then we step up to performance mode with 75% 3D, which makes it a little sharper. That's the one that I like to use. And then how many frames it gets in that. And then we switch over to DirectX 11, which is really hard for these cards. And it's a pass-fail type of benchmark. So you'll see in the spreadsheet after this, if it performs at 120 at least in performance mode, that's a pass. If it performs in 75% performance mode at 120, that's a pass. And then DirectX 11, there's 30, 60, and 120 as far as pass-fail. So these all actually, you can see here, this is performance, we're getting like 130. So pretty much all the cards passed the 120 performance, except for the 545, it only hit 100, so that's a fail. And then the, for some reason this 460 performs better than the other cards on 75%, which is weird, even though it's older. And it also performs better at the peak of DirectX 11, even though they all perform poorly. They're about the same. So I'm not going to show you each card. I'm just going to show you the numbers in the spreadsheet after this, because they're so similar that even you can't tell. If you didn't see the numbers on the screen, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. You kind of, the only one that I could tell slightly was the 545, which I guess is kind of a weird card. That one, there was a little lagginess to it more than the others, but the rest of them, they're about the same. So you can see here, this is 130 to 140-ish. So let's try and find a buddy here. Where'd he go? Wasn't somebody just here? There he is. We'll just keep doing that. And they're dead. Now we're gonna switch to, so you see the quality is kind of terrible here. Let's switch over to 75%. I haven't tried 100 because 100 is basically looks like the Direct 11 one. So you see the quality got better, and now we're at 100 FPS, which I think is still kind of okay. So I think 100 FPS with this quality for such an old card is not bad. And I think if you put it at 100%, you'd probably get down to 40, 50 frames per second. So we don't want to do that. Wish I had some snacks. So here we go. It's Deadpool guy. What is he, invisible now? That was a good one. Okay, now let's switch to DirectX. So you can see here, I mean, it looks better, but it's much, much slower. I think for these older cards, probably you just want to run performance mode. So this is the 400 series, 500 series, 600 series performance mode, and as high quality as you can stand, or low quality as you can stand, to get the most frames per second. So let's see if we can go find somebody to talk to here. So 40 on DirectX 11 would be a pass for 30, but a fail for 60. So this is the spreadsheet. There's going to be a link in the description to this. This will be constantly updated, so you'll see the numbers change. Some things you might be missing, and I don't have a logging system yet, so this is basically numbers that I wrote down while I was testing, and then I typed them in after, so it's not 100% accurate, but you get the idea. So you can see here, these cards all passed. This monitor has a bunch of scratches on it, by the way. It's not dirt. I had to use a really old monitor because these are all DVI cards, except for the 650. So you see performance mode 60 frames pass, so that it's just empty. Then you move on to performance 120. This might just be performance unlimited instead later, because I ended up putting the frames it gets maximum in it. So that might change. But so you have the GTX 650 achieved the most frames in 120 mode. And then in the 75%, I don't know why that number's missing. I should have had that in there. It was, I believe, 135, 140. I'll have to retest that at some. So this will be filled in. I'm gonna change this category. I don't think I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna change that. So this category might go away. This is DirectX 11 50%, but that's the default, so that this category shouldn't be here. I'm probably gonna make this DirectX 11 75% to match this one, but then there won't be any results here for these because they're not going to be able to do it anyway. So that they'll just be blank here. Then we have DirectX 1130. The 545 failed on that one. That was actually the slowest card of them all, I believe. Is it? Yeah. And I don't know, I tried to find information on the 545 and there just wasn't any. It's kind of a weird card. And then of course, none of them could do 60 frames on the DirectX 11. So when we get some newer cards in here, you'll see this fill up more and these numbers get higher as we get newer and newer cards. So my plan is to, the next group of cards that I do, when I have to get at least 3 to be able to do a video. So it's not just one card, unless, like I said, if it's a special card or a rare card, it'll have its own video. But if it's just a random whatever card, then they're going to be grouped together. So this is basically all the, see, here's the cost of the cards. They're all 25 bucks. The year that it was released is also in the spreadsheet. And then if you go further, there's some specs like the wattage, the chipset, like that, the memory, the brand. I did benchmark these just to see what would happen. It was really depressing to do that. So that's why I put it way over here where nobody can see it. Just because I want to see the difference. What I mean is the difference in gaming and the difference in benchmarks is something totally different. So I've only ever tested cards this way. I never really tested them in games. I tried the games, but that wasn't the point of the benchmark because I don't really play games. But now that it's about playing a game, I'm doing it this way, but then for my own knowledge, I'm doing it here. So like I said, the 652 gigabyte failed. I don't know what's wrong with it. When this is done, I'm going to change, actually I'll change it right now to tested. And then, so this way, if somebody was to click on this link and see this, see, it's, if you see testing in progress, that means that I'm currently testing. And so those numbers will change, and so you should ignore those. Actually, let's put that down here. Yeah, so that way this is at the top. So you would ignore anything down here. And then cards that I have on hand that are not tested are going to be here. So you can see what's going to be coming up next as I get them. I really wanted to try the 750 Ti, but I can't find it. I literally had it here 2 days ago and it's gone. And I don't think anybody would steal a 750 Ti. That card's a little weird when you see it in the next grouping. It has no brand. It has a weird fan. It's like one of those AliExpress cards. It does work though. I think I did try Fortnite on it once. It does work, but I don't remember what it was like. And so I'm gonna look for, I'm gonna try and stay away from these cards because even though I said I wanted to test every single card, I don't want to test every single card because any of these 460, 650, they're all going to be the same. Look at the differences by 10, 15 frames per second. So we don't need to see all that. So we're just going to test this kind of card and then move on. So because we didn't get a 652 gigabyte test, I'm going to get one of those specifically because I want to see what's the difference between 2 gigabyte and 1 gigabyte, especially on the low end range. So hopefully the next grouping will be a 652 gigabyte, the 750 Ti, and then I want to try and find an 80, like a 480 or for a 680, or wait, yeah, 480, 580, 687, yeah. Because I forgot, the 80 cards are like the higher performing ones, and they're still old, but they're the higher performing ones. So we should look for those. If we do the low end cards and they're old, they're gonna perform not very well. So that's that. And if you have input, what I'm gonna do is, if you have a card, if you have an old card like this, actually, the AMD cards will be here. It's gonna be a different screen, just so it's not too long. What I'm gonna do is, if you have an old card, let's say you have a GTX480 on hand, and you wanna test it, I'm gonna submit results from other people in here. It'll just be a different color, just so you know it's not me. And then you'll see here, see where it says test system? So if it says test system 1, that's me. And then if it said test system 5, you would go to this page called systems. And I would put the specs. So let's say 2, 3, 4, 5. I would put the specs of your system there so you could match. So the numbers won't be correct unless you happen to have an old, you know, unless you happen to have an old system like I do. The numbers will be off just a little bit, but I think it really doesn't matter in this low end of the range. And actually, I kind of am curious if somebody else tests the same card that I have here, and if they get different numbers in a better system. Probably not, but we'll see. Okay, so that's that. We'll move on, and let me show you the winning card. So this is your winner, GTX 650 for 20 bucks. I've seen these on eBay for $20 shipped actually. And as you can see in the gameplay, if you put it on performance mode, it's actually not bad. 160 frames per second on performance low, and what was it, 140 or 100, between 120 to 140 if you up the resolution to 75%, and I assume if you went to 100% it would probably be around 100 and it would look decent. You might want to just get the 2 GB one though, but the 1 GB was fine. So that's the end of this video. The next one is going to have AMD cards. I have a couple right now, and hopefully I'll find 1 or 2 more lower end ones, like a 470 or something, and just do all AMD. And then the third video should be workstation GPUs and mixed with low profile GPUs. And so, but in order to use the same system, I think I'm just gonna take the bracket off the low profile ones instead of using a whole different setup. So there you go. GPU Wars episode 1 finished. We'll see you in the next one.